Hey everybody, this is Jason Kepi here. We're RV Wholesalers. We're here live on the Time for War webinar. A lot of you guys have seen some of the videos we made and the landing page, and so some of you guys know what this is about. But for anybody who doesn't, we're getting ready to get started. But let me give, by way of introduction, let me give you a quick intro of what's going on right now and what you guys have tuned into. So RV Wholesalers has been in business over 20 years now, and we've been trying to do business the right way. And so a week or so ago, I don't know, 10 days ago, David Darnell came to me and some of the other team members that said, hey, I'm tired of what's going on and what he's seeing in the industry. And so we decided to put together this content, not only to educate people to stay away from the bad actors, if you will, because there are good dealers out there. We know that. But to stay away from those bad actors, the ones that just really want to rip people off for profit. And two, to kind of be the voice of reason and say, look, we're tired of this. We're staying up. It's not okay. And so anyway, that's what we're doing here today. We're going to go through, we've got a list of whatever, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that we've seen, heard. Kelly Tussing is with us. He's the manager, one of the managers of our sales team. And then David Darnell that is one of the owners of RV Wholesaler. He's with us as well. And so what we're going to do is it's real informal. We don't have a scheduled presentation or some slides to show you. We've got content from our last webinar that we may want to show you on how to negotiate and maybe get some good deals. If we get questions like that, we see questions coming in like that, guys, we may do that and pull that up. I've got that ready to go. Otherwise, this is just going to be a conversation. So as far as housekeeping goes, what we'd like you to do is just on the right-hand side, I believe it's on your right, you should see a chat box. If you don't, click the little chat icon thing, and you should see it. And you'll be able to type in and ask questions there. Okay, so ask questions early and often. We'll basically see those as they come in. Tim is with us here. He's going to help us to kind of feed those. If you see David or Tim or even I looking around, it's because we're trying to get those questions to the right person. Okay, so that's going to be happening in the background. Also, we're all using the same microphone here, but we want to be able to come on screen here and give a face to a name. So get your questions in. If you have any questions, especially if you've seen the video and you've seen some of the other things, or if you've got experiences that you'd like us to see, hey, has Kelly heard of this when he's been working with customers, or David, obviously in the 20-some years he's been doing business, we can talk to those. Again, this is not meant to be a bash session on the industry. It's meant to be a help to you, as well as just kind of guarding yourself and knowing what's out there and what's happening. All right. Anything else, guys, I missed before we jump in?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's go to the first one. And so basically, one of the first things we covered in the video that we wanted you guys to be aware of was really the dealers quoting super low prices, and then they hit you with sometimes thousands of dollars in extra fees. So, this can be like a stripped down unit with zero, like literally no options, which almost nobody wants, or it can be other things. So guys, which one of you wants to take that one?
It's been a new practice. It's something that the industry is actually teaching to try to counter internet dealers, right? So what they're doing is they're teaching the dealer body to quote a price at cost or right around cost. They get a deposit from you over the phone, or they try to get you down to the lot and get your deposit first. Then when you go into close, they start telling you, oh, by the way, this unit has $4,200 in options. There's a $2,800 factory freight charge. There's a PDI fee of $1,200. And by the time you get done, literally, in many cases, your price is up over $10,000 more than what they quoted you. The problem for the customer is you've given a deposit. So now you have a choice. Do I give up my $1,000 to $5,000 deposit, walk away with nothing? Do I enter a legal battle for $1,000? It's going to cost me $5,000 to $15,000 to get my $1,000 back, or do I pay the extra, $5,000 to $15,000 for a trailer that I was quoted a price that the price I know never existed? Mm-hmm. And we're hearing this more and more and more. And it literally is being taught, and we're just to the point where, very honestly, we're done with it. Mm-hmm. We can't stand it anymore. we've been in this industry for 21 years. We've watched them adapt in practices to be dishonest and be unfair to customers.
Yeah.
And it's beyond disgusting. They're getting a little more creative with it. They're getting more bold with it, which is very interesting to me because we're in the time of social media, which is obviously how we're reaching most folks today.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the midst of social media, but you are knowingly and willingly trying to deceive customers, and you're okay with it. The industry banner seems to be one and done. I'm just worried about today's sale. Let me get today's sale, and then we'll go on down the road. Everything's fine. We can't sustain ourselves that way.
The industry can't, not just the dealers.
No, because not everyone's just moving to another dealer. Some people are simply moving out of the industry. They've had it. They're tired of being taken advantage of. They're tired of just straight out lies and deceitfulness. And they're tired of the fact that no one in the industry cares enough to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So we're saying, hey, and we've already got pushback on our video, a lot of pushback. We've already had a lot of dealers, trying to be customers, filing BBB complaints, trying to be customers, leaving bad reviews, things like that on Facebook. They're pushing back, but we can't allow it.
Right.
We have got to step into the modern age. We have got to have morals and ethics.
Yep.
We have got to make an industry where people know when I show up to pick up an RV, I'm going to pay exactly the price that I was quoted.
Well, and it's supposed to be a good buying experience anyway. I mean, it's supposed to be something fun and that they want to do, and they're going to spend time with their family, not worrying about how they're going to get taken advantage of next. And
and people budget.
Yeah,
I can afford that. I can afford that payment. So they budget, and how hard do people? How many days they have to work before I make a purchase? I always like to look at it as how many days did I have to work in order to afford this?
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth that many days away from my family to make this purchase?
Yeah.
Well, we're telling people, here it is. Here's your price. The industry is. We're not. Here it is. Here's your price. Now you came to pick up. Oh, I'm sorry. It's thousands more. And dealers that aren't playing that price game, aren't quoting this super low price up front, are coming in, though, and saying, hey, there's a factory freight charge. And you're like, what? Yeah, it costs us $2,800 to get here from the factory. You want me to pay that?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they don't deliver them for free. Yeah, but you should have built that in your price.
And that's one of the ones we're going to talk about, fair profit. And we're not going to talk about this one long, but just so you know, we talked about this in the video. And one of the things that I want you to know, and I think David may have just said it or Kelly did, there are good dealers out there. And we said that in the beginning. There are, right? You hear about people who go buy a dealer or go buy from somebody else. Maybe they're local, they're thousands of miles away, and they get some of the things that we offer. That's great. I mean, we want to see, if we're going to lose the business, we want to see it go to somebody who's honorable and who's honest. So with that said, fair profit should be not nickel and diming, right? So to talk about that a little bit, how not necessarily how we set prices or anybody else, but just about the things, the kind of fees they shouldn't be paying for, if that makes sense.
Well, there's one legitimate fee that we found, and it's a documentation fee, a title fee. And like, for example, the state of Ohio charges a title fee. We all know what that is up front.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything should be built into the price. Now there's the title fee can't be because of bank regulations. But, we obviously we have to pay to get our trailers here from the factory.
that's what I was going to say. So the freight is going to be a given, but it should be included in your price. It shouldn't be something that gets tacked on later. Well, that's being shady. I mean, you're doing something to try to get the customer thinking one way and then pull the rug out from underneath of them. So obviously every dealership pays to get their unit from the manufacturer, but that needs to be figured into the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. PDI is another one, pre-delivery inspection. So we see dealers charging anywhere from $300 to almost $3,000 now for pre-delivery inspection. So I'm going to charge you, the customer, because I checked your water system, your propane system, made sure the furnace fired, made sure the water heater actually lit and the water got hot, et cetera, et cetera. Wow. Again, if you need to charge, okay, if your business plan you need to charge, then it should be worked into the unit before the customer gets the price. It
Right.
shouldn't be, surprise, you've got another big, huge, gargantuous fee. One of the largest chains in the country, and I'm not going to mention names today, but one of the largest chains is regularly hitting people with $1,800 in fees.
Wow.
And we've heard it from
multiple
customers at multiple different locations around the country. But you go there and shop, you're going to get an $1,800 fee when you go to close your paperwork.
at minimum.
Now, is one of those a finance fee? I know we said that in the video, you know, like the fee to actually finance. Have you guys seen that as well, where they're being charged some kind of a fee either to finance or to get financing or
Yeah,
anything like that?
especially people with challenging credit. A lot of times there'll be a finance fee applied to that.
Right.
You know, and every dealer's getting participation from the bank. So every dealer's getting a check from the bank to give you a loan. If you didn't know that, that's what happens. When you do a loan with a dealer, the dealer gets a check. We feel like you deserve that money. So we hand it back to our customers in the form of a discount because we don't need to make money 18 different ways. You know, we're a very profitable company. We do very well, and we charge a very, very affordable price. And of course, all you have to do is kind of look at a Walmart or a Lowe's or one of those chain stores. You know, they're working on volume. We're working on volume,
Right.
and it works very well. You know, if you take care of your customers, here's where we differ from the rest of the industry completely and totally. First of all, no hidden fees, but more importantly is the service after the sale. You know, and we hear stories every day where customers are threatened, if you don't pay my price, right? If you seek a cheaper price somewhere else, I won't service your unit. Wow. So now we're to coercion. Now we're to total threats. You're going to pay my inflated price of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 more, $5,000 more, or I won't fix your unit.
Right.
What RV wholesalers, we say, guess what, dealer, we don't need you to. We don't want you to. Obviously, this customer can't trust you anyways. If they've sought us out in another state, you're doing something wrong. Why else would they travel to Ohio to buy an RV? It isn't just price. It's your practices as well. So we'll find someone else to do their repair work. There's all kinds of independent service guys all across this country that want your service business. They aren't doing it as a favor to you.
Right.
Well, that's
It's their
the worst part
business.
about it. They get upset when you don't want to pay their inflated price, and then they try to threaten you with all these things. Well, I'm not going to work on it. Don't even try to come back here over and over and over. Well, if you were doing it right in the first place, like David mentioned, they wouldn't be looking elsewhere.
Right. Yeah. They wouldn't have reason to. And you know, the other thing that shocks me, just from a strict business standpoint, it's so expensive to go find new customers.
Yeah.
Last year alone, it cost us almost $1,500 for every sale we had in California, marketing and throw everything together. Why would we want one and be done?
Right.
We want people to join our family. We want them to stay with us. We want them to be serviced. We want them to get parts in a quick manner.
And tell others about that.
Right. That, hey, you can trust these guys. When I got there, they didn't add a bunch of hidden fees.
Right.
You know, they didn't threaten me with service. They didn't threaten me with anything. I mean, good grief, you're buying something. This should be fun.
So let's go off script for a minute. Nelson has a question. Says basically he's been told the markup on a unit from the manufacturer to a dealer is anywhere from 35 to 45%, and he wants to know, is this correct?
Yeah, and higher.
And higher?
And higher. Unfortunately, much higher. Nelson, our pricing is nowhere near that, but that is there and above, very honestly. And again, that's one of the things that we're disgusted about. A customer buys an RV. They want out normally in about 4 years to get a new RV, right, with the new bells and whistles, and their family changes, and sometimes they want to go down, sometimes they want to go up in size, and they can't.
Well, that's just it. They just can't because, I mean, unless you're putting thousands and thousands and thousands down, then you're stuck in that unit until you have it for 10 or 15 years and you can pay it down to where, you know, we see it all the time with trades. I mean, people owe more for a 3-year-old coach than we're selling a new one for. I mean,
Right.
that's just not.
Literally.
Right.
And the bad thing is, again, the industry supports this practice and it hurts the industry. If everybody that wants to get out of their RV in 3-4 years can get out of their RV in 3-4 years, we're selling more RVs.
Right.
I don't know why that's such a hard concept. I don't know why it's such a hard concept to be upfront and honest about pricing. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, wait, real quick, Mike, from Colorado, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Your question, maybe it got cut off. We couldn't see the whole question. You made a statement, and then it looked like you were going to follow up with the question. So if you got a question for us or a statement, retype that in and send it to us. And then why don't we go to the next one? So basically, we covered the profit. We also wanted to talk about strip down unit, dealer prep, PDI, and factory freight. We talked about that. So let's go to the next one, which is, we kind of hit it on this, about lying to customers about service or flat out refusing them proper service. So we talked a little bit about that, but what do you guys find with it? We have a nationwide service network. We talk about it a lot, and we talk about it a lot because it's a big deal. So what we want to cover, and maybe Kelly, you could start on this since you're on the front lines. What are people hearing about other dealers' nationwide service network, and what should they be looking out for in that case with that?
Well, I think a lot of times, because people obviously try to mimic what we're doing because we do take care of the customer, so they try to say it, but they don't back it, I guess, is the easiest way to explain it. So, I mean, with us, we actually have places that we work with. We have a staff that takes care of our customers. And what most of the other dealers are saying to even justify that they have a network is they're using the manufacturer's dealer locator and just looking up who's the nearest Rockwood dealer or whatever brand that you may have, insert that there, and that's what they're looking for. Well, we just went through the fact that the other dealers, if you don't pay their price, they're not going to work on it. So obviously that's not the case. So,
and is that across the board? Like some people, and I'm just going to call a spade. I know David won't care. We have people calling us out saying that's not true. Dealers will work on it all the time. Is that true? You guys hear it all the time, right?
I mean, I'm not going to say that dealer
not across the board, right?
But
right.
I mean, we talk to thousands of customers every day, and the odds aren't in the favor.
The most common thing that people say to us is, my problem is if I buy from you, my local insert brand here dealer will not work on my coach.
Right.
So what do I do? They're so full of fear, and I get it.
Yeah.
And it's all relative. If you're buying a $12,000 coach or a $120,000 coach, it's all relative. You need to know that you can camp in the thing. You need to know that you can get it repaired, that you can get parts. And when you have a dealer telling you, if you buy from anyone but me, I won't fix it, what are you going to do? We tell people, and it's kind of funny to me, the country's changed so much. I'm going to give a real brief example, but we found notes from a couple great aunts, right? And they only lived about 25 miles apart. And these letters were written, almost 75, 80, 100 years ago. And it was really funny. They were planning their once-a-year visit to see each other because it was so hard to travel. Well, that was kind of the RV industry, right? And it's burgeoning birth. People stayed really close to their local dealer. They don't anymore. People are all over the place. People are going 3 states away to take care of a parent at the end of their life or to help a parent convalesce from a surgery. They don't need service.
Yeah.
I'm helping my parent 2 states away and I can't get service because I didn't buy from that dealer.
Right.
Come on. We're past that, I think people have a hard time believing this too, though, when they haven't experienced it firsthand because they're used to the automobile industry.
Right.
Yes.
I buy a Chevy Suburban, I pull into a Chevy dealership.
Yes.
They take care of it.
Well, that's the way everyone thinks about it when they're initially starting to process it.
And that's the way it should be. And we do it here because we figured out, number one, believe it or not, if you bring your RV to us, we do warranty work or we do repair work, we make money.
Right.
It's an income center. Second thing, though, more importantly, it gives us a chance to earn you as a full-time customer.
Right.
Well, not only that, they're looking at the parts store, they're talking to a salesman about upgrading.
Yeah.
There's thousands of things, not even to mention that we make money on the repair work. But, you have other options to gain them as a customer.
And that's not a surprise. That's not a secret.
No, but here's the funny part. See, the dealer doesn't want to make the $50 or the $100.
Right.
He wants to make the $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in one big hit. The problem is the customers are figuring it out.
And they
They're
have
not
the world
going
at their fingertips.
Right. And the reason we're doing this is I want people to know, look, we don't care if you don't buy here. You buy wherever you feel comfortable. But stop paying thousands more for the same thing because you're being threatened or taken advantage of.
Right.
You walk in, you've given a deposit, they try to jack that price up thousands of dollars, call your credit card company and cancel the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Walk out.
Yeah.
You vote with your dollars. Don't allow this madness to continue any longer. Take care of yourselves. Don't allow them to prey on you. Yeah. Mike's question popped up, and the rest of it, he said that he's looking at a fifth wheel, not just as a fifth wheel, but to go full time.
As a home, yeah.
Yeah, as a home. He said the important items to us is dependability as well as nationwide service coverage. Please detail your service plan. Well, Mike, we just talked about it a little bit, but we have literally service centers all across the United States. We partner with a lot of independent service guys that have been, professionally trained. They have their certification, and then that's what they do for their full-time business. Those are the people we like to use the most. We also use some plumbers, electricians, people like that are absolute experts. But we're going to get you taken care of.
Well, and the nice thing about it is those people, that's how they make a living. So they want your business,
yes.
And they want to make sure you get you taken care of right away, and you're not waiting or anything like that.
Well, it's like any service professional, right? An HVAC or a plumber. Right. They're trying to impress you and keep your business. These guys are the same way.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody else had asked, does the documentation fee vary by state? I'm not sure, and I hate to answer that. I believe it does.
I think a little bit. I mean,
yeah,
$10 or $15. I mean, not hundreds and thousands of dollars. So
I do know, like Ohio limits the fee that a dealer can charge.
Right.
On that, it doesn't keep dealers from charging other fees, but they limit that fee in particular. There's a ceiling on it. You can't go above that ceiling. And again, to go back to the situation, what we want people to see is there are dealers out there that want your business. There are dealers out there that are going to take care of you. There are dealers that are going to treat you fair. And we know there are other dealers out there that do well. We're not the only one. There's other people out there.
Well, and I think our philosophy has always been we want to sell every customer their third RV. I mean, that kind of lays the groundwork for our staff. And I mean, we want to make sure that we take care of everyone the first two times to guarantee that third sale. Exactly. I mean, if you don't do it right the first time, maybe you might get a second chance. If you don't do it right the first or second time, you're never getting a third chance. So, I mean, that's kind of our motto and our philosophy.
While we're on service, let's talk about making people wait, a month or more sometimes, right, for repairs or parts. So what have you guys heard, and what should they be looking out for? I mean, obviously sometimes things happen.
Yeah, sure.
But what should be the norm?
And this is a multi-pronged thing. For one thing, it takes too long, and I'll get some phone calls and emails on this one, but it takes too long to get approval from the factory to do repairs. It should not take any time at all. What we've always said is come audit the dealers. If you're not sure you can trust them, come audit us, but let us make that decision.
Right.
And if you find a dealer's untrustworthy, cut him out of your network. Mm-hmm. Don't allow that dealer to continue to sell for you. But, customers shouldn't have to wait 2, 3, 4 weeks for a factory to make a decision in some cases. The other thing is it takes too long to get parts. But the worst part is when things are done under warranty, a lot of times dealers kind of punish people or reward, however you look at it, right? Oh, you're not my customer, I'll help you, but you're going the back of the line. What does that mean? I have a repair I need done. What do you mean I'm going the back of the line? I bought a insert name here, Sandpiper, Columbus, right? Forester, whatever it is. Why do I go the back of the line?
Right.
My money's spent just like their money. So again, that's something the industry ought to take care of. But the other thing is it takes a long time to get paid. A lot of times, though, it's the dealer's fault. They don't do the proper paperwork. They don't do it the way they're supposed to. They don't take pictures. They don't return the bad part. So the factory can't pay them. Well, the dealer refuses to do it right, to learn how to do it right. So your trailer sits at a dealer's lot for 12 weeks.
Right.
And the customer is the one that's being punished. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, and again, then they're getting a bad taste in their mouth about the RV industry altogether again.
Right.
They had a bad experience buying it. Now they're having a bad experience getting it worked on. Now when's the next shoe going to fall?
Well, and we saw this after 9/11. After 9/11, a lot of people did not want to fly. A lot of people jumped into the RV industry. They wanted to spend more time with family. They wanted to stay off airplanes. And well over 100,000 RVs were sold, just boom. And people jumped into the industry with both feet. What was real sad was within 3 years, almost all of those people were back out of the industry because they couldn't believe, I can't take my trailer anywhere and get it repaired.
Jumped out of the room here accidentally. Apologize. So hopefully our audio stayed up, but I'm back in. So if you guys have any questions about that, let me know. If there's a break, it should just be a few seconds, but for some reason my browser crashed. So anyway, Tim's telling me we're back. Sorry about that. So basically, David, maybe we want to cover that last 10 or 15 seconds, but basically the people are saying they have a nationwide service network.
Yeah, it was I was talking about after 9/11 that, over 100,000 people jumped in the industry within 3 years. Almost all of them were out, but we maintained our customers. And it was a great affirmation to us that RV Wholesalers is doing the right things, that we're taking care of our customers. The industry actually came calling to find out, how are you keeping your customers and we've lost ours, right? What are you doing? We told them, we want this industry to rise up. We want this industry to start offering fair pricing up front. We want it to offer better service. We want parts to be shipped in a timely manner.
Yeah.
But the sad part is they didn't make the changes.
Yeah.
Now some dealers figured out, hey, wait a minute, customers are asking me, do we have a nationwide service network? I'll throw a map on my website and act like I do, but they don't.
It's a Google search.
Yeah. Where did it come from? How did you get it?
Right. And I love to tell people where our network came from. It's 21 years in the making, and it's a very solid network because we built it ourselves.
Yeah.
It's us.
So you mentioned something earlier, and I just want to cover it and make sure, because I hope I didn't miss it, but you said sometimes the dealers don't. Sometimes that's a dealer's fault, right? They don't get involved. They don't fill the paperwork out enough. Talk about our bill pay and how we believe that they shouldn't have to pay for a covered repair and wait to be reimbursed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did already, but
no. If a customer's under warranty and they're getting a repair done, again, we know that a lot of times the delay to let them have their RV back is the repair center's waiting to be reimbursed by the factory. So what we've done is it's called RVW bill pay, and again, we've encouraged the industry to adopt this. But you go and get a repair done. When you call us and say, hey, the repair's done, we pay the repair center over the phone with a credit card. That way you can leave. You can get right back to camping immediately.
right.
Also, we don't want you to have to try to fight to get a bill reimbursed. If you do pay so you can go home, we don't want you on the phone with the factory trying to get your money back. That would be a nightmare scenario for anyone. I don't want to call General Motors. I drive a Suburban. I don't want to call General Motors and try to get money back because I paid a dealer to do a repair. No, thank you. I called Ford once on a blown motor. Woo, never again. Believe me. So we don't want our customers experiencing the same thing. Let us do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But what we're saying to the industry is you need to start doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
You need to start taking care of people and being fair and open and honest up front. We need to all do it.
The customer doesn't deserve to be in the bad spot anyway. The whole thing. If they can't get a repair bill taken care of or can't get the factory on the phone, that should never happen. You purchase something that is still under manufacturer's warranty. Right. You don't need to be having a headache. And that's where we kind of step in and we play the middleman, because we don't want our customers calling the manufacturer. We don't want our customers calling General Motors. We don't want our customers having to figure out how they're going to come out of their camping fund to pay for a repair and then wait
Right.
to get reimbursed. We don't. That's not good customer service.
No, it's not. You know, and one of the last things I want to talk about too is make sure that you're comparing apples for apples. One of the most egregious things we're seeing, and there's a big dealer out west that does this a lot. They'll sell a unit with almost no options, but they don't. Like for example, there's standards that come on every trailer. Then there's options that the dealer adds or that you can add if you're getting one built. Well, what a few of these dealers are doing is they'll bring in a trailer with no options.
Right.
So you buy the thing thinking, wow, this price is amazing.
Right.
And you get there and literally you don't have a water heater.
Jacks.
You don't have jacks.
Wow.
You don't have an air conditioner. I mean, you don't have the basic fundamentals that you need to camp. What do you do?
Well, that's another way they get fees too. Oh,
Yeah.
you want your jacks? Well, yeah, I need jacks.
Yeah, I'll sell you
That's another
jacks.
couple $100. So you need a water heater. Yeah, I'm gonna need a water heater. Well, there's another $1,000. Well, now your price was at $15,000. Now it's at $35,000. Well, you needed that stuff to camp.
It's crazy, you know, and they blame the customer. Well, you should have checked it out more thoroughly. You should have looked at it more thoroughly. Well, how do people know that's a practice?
Right.
You know, how do I know that's the case? I mean, there's a reason that we wash our hands all the time now. We figured out that germs are an issue. Before we knew germs were an issue, we didn't know that we needed to wash our hands. Well, what we're telling people is this is an issue. You need to know this is an issue. Compare apples for apples.
Well, and like it
Make
or
a
not,
dealer show you what's on the unit.
exactly, and like it or not, you know, for the longest time in web design, ESPN was the gold standard because it was always cutting edge. And you had to, and now in e-commerce, it's Amazon and other places. Well, car dealerships and car industry is the way people think the RV industry should be, right? And it should work. So, like it or not, that's really what people are thinking, how it should be, as well as kind of what they're expecting, I think. So,
Yeah, Mike just had a question. And Mike, we have to tread lightly answering this. But what brand RVs don't you sell, and why are those manufacturers not wanting to use your sales network, or why have you not selected those manufacturers? Grand Design is a big one. They will not do business with RV wholesalers. Jayco will not do business with RV wholesalers. The overall reason is they want to be able to protect their dealers' right to charge whatever they want for their products. You can go on from there. But they know that we refuse to do that 35, 40 to 100% markup. Then that means if RV Wholesalers is out there with a very affordable price, other dealers in that dealer network, and there are other companies, will not be able then to necessarily charge those prices.
Right.
So then the dealers will be upset. What we say is make them very upset. Again, we're making money. We do very well at RV Wholesalers. We're a profitable business. We've been blessed by God. These dealers can make it just as easy as we can. But again, they're looking for one and out.
right.
They want that home run. We're saying, I'll take a bunt single.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look pretty. Everybody didn't cheer when I did it, and I still got on base. You know, so there's two of the big ones. But Grand Design will not do business with RV wholesalers because they want to protect the dealer's ability to overcharge. Just being totally honest. Jayco's exactly the same way. They will not do business with RV wholesalers. Yet Jayco acts like, man, we got our customers. We got their backs.
Right.
Do you? And there are some other manufacturers that are scared to death of RV wholesalers. You know, you guys, what I love to hear is you sell too cheap. Obviously not, because we've been in business for 21 years. My rebuttal to that today is, obviously, your dealers are selling at far too expensive of a price. Yeah. If my price scares any of you, you're way overpriced because, again, we're doing very well.
Well, we're about ready to wrap up, but I wanted to, right before we do, if you got any other questions, some of you are, probably still typing, feed them in. We'll stay as long as we need to. Kelly, David, be thinking about what last things you'd want to tell people. we these two things aren't coordinated, but part of the overall thing that we did was Time for War event was we wanted, again, to literally, David, that's like, let's declare war on the industry. So one of the things we did was we said, hey, we need to have this sales event, and today is that day. So if you are in the market, call one of Kelly's people. We'll put up, we may have a slide with Kelly's email, but again, just call us at our phone number, and Kelly and one of the team will take care of you there. So guys, to wrap up, okay, thanks. Got several of you guys thanking us here, and appreciate you coming on. Kelly, David, anything else, last parting comment you want to share with people or tell people that make sure they know before they leave?
Well, I would just tell you again, be careful. Don't be pressured. Make the dealer put everything in writing. Say this to them. What fees am I going to pay when I show up? And let them know, if you try to charge me one fee when I get there, I'm going to simply call my credit card company, and I'm going to challenge the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know up front you're not playing the game. Hopefully then they'll come clean and say, well, hold on a second. You're going to have to pay these fees, et cetera, et cetera. But just take your time. Look at apples for apples.
And don't reward bad behavior. When you get there and it's not what it is, don't reward them with your business, because if they're willing to do that before you buy and while you're buying, what do you think you're going to get after you?
Well, even if they try to make it right, now they're just covering up the bad acting. The bad behavior.
Well, we vote with our dollars.
Mm-hmm.
We do. You're voting with your dollars. Find a dealer that you can trust.
Well, I'm not saying it, and no dealer's ever made a mistake. But
no, of course.
It's not. You'll know, and you will know when something's not right. And don't reward that. They're not. They obviously didn't have your best interest in mind from the get, so don't reward them. That's the biggest thing I could say.
We used to say to customers, because they'll be honest and say, look, I want to buy local, but he's overcharging me, so I want to use your price, try to beat him down. And we'd say,
right.
Well, what are you doing 5 years when we're not here anymore?
Right.
We've pulled prices down a lot in the RV industry, but what are you going to do 5 years if we go out of business? Everybody does what you're doing, and that's why we encourage people, vote with your dollars. Sarah asked a quick question before we jump off.
Yeah, sure.
It says, my husband and I are considering an RV. I will be the primary driver. Is it possible to test drive units, see if I can indeed handle one? I've driven an F-150 and an ambulance for a few years, but nothing's large as code. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all, Sarah. Any dealer should let you test drive.
Yep.
And I think that's a very common industry practice.
Yep.
Also, a lot of dealers will go with you to a large parking lot.
Yeah.
And help you get a feel for it, make sure that you're comfortable, stuff like that before you guys take off. So, that should not be a problem at all.
Okay. I put up, just because I saw Sarah's question and maybe others, some of these things are things we talked about in a previous event. And really it's just 5 things, that we've talked about in videos, we talked about in other events, and we hit on here today. So, again, we want you guys to, not reward the bad behavior, but also get what, is fair. And so hopefully this has been helpful. We see somebody else come in here.
Yeah, Bill asked, will Georgetown allow you to sell their units? Not at this time, Bill. We did just pick up the FR3, which is in the family, but at this time we are not a Georgetown dealer, but we are working on it.
So I just say thanks for all the people out there. It seems like, David mentioned that we got some flack, if you'll say, right? When we do this, we do see it, people don't like us doing this, but a lot of you guys kind of stand up for RV wholesalers. You've either been customers of ours for a long time, or you just know that it's not true what you're seeing. Thank you. David appreciates it. David and Mike, I'm sure Kelly and the team do. I do. We just appreciate it when the voice of truth and reason is the one that shines through. So anyway, hope this has been helpful. Anything else, guys, that we're seeing? Sarah, Bill, Mike, Nelson, everybody else who joined us today, tons of you. Hopefully we didn't miss you. Thank you so much, and we just appreciate you guys. And let us know if we can help serve you and your needs. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.